Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Sweet Revenge. If this one grabs you, and trust me, it's gonna, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's dive in. Picture this: I'm standing in the middle of Pullen Park, Raleigh, North Carolina, surrounded by the chaos of a sunny Saturday. Kids are shrieking on the swings, their sneakers kicking up dust. The air smells like cut grass, hot dogs, and sunscreen, thick and sticky in the late summer heat. I'm clutching a half-melted iced coffee from Dunkin', the plastic cup sweating in my hand, my sneakers crunching on the gravel path. I'm just trying to clear my head, you know? Therapy's been heavy lately. But then, I see him. My ex-husband, Mark. He's laughing, pushing a stroller, looking like he's auditioning for Dad of the Year. And right next to him? Her. Lauren. My best friend since college. My stomach drops like I've missed a step on a staircase. Because in that stroller? A baby. They're babied. I wasn't supposed to be here. I was just cutting through the park after my session with Karen, my therapist. Yeah, I'll get to why I'm in therapy in a sec. But there they were, like some picture-perfect family straight out of a Target ad. Mark's got his arm around Lauren's waist, and she's glowing, like she's won the damn lottery. The baby's got these chubby cheeks, tiny sneakers kicking in the stroller, and I can't breathe. My chest feels like it's caving in. I duck behind a tree, coffee dripping down my wrist because I'm squeezing the cup so hard it cracks. I'm frozen, watching them. 10 minutes. 10 minutes of my life, stolen again. Lauren kisses his cheek. He tickles the baby's chin. And me? I'm invisible. A ghost in my own story. Let me back up. A year ago, I was Jessica Harper, 32, married to Mark for 6 years. We had a small apartment in North Raleigh, the kind with creaky floors and a fridge that hummed like it was plotting something. We weren't perfect, but we were us. We'd binge The Office on weekends, fight over who left dishes in the sink, and dream about a future with kids. Or at least, I did. Mark, he was always cagey about it. Kids are a lot, Jess, he'd say, sipping his IPA, his eyes dodging mine. I thought he'd come around. Stupid, right? You ever convince yourself someone's gonna change just because you love them? Then, one night, he sat me down at our kitchen table. The one with the chipped blue mugs we got at a flea market. He looked at me, his jaw tight, and said, "Jess, I don't want kids. Ever. I'm not built for it. And I don't think this is working." My hands went clammy around my mug. God, I drank so much coffee back then, like it could fix my marriage. I begged. I cried. I said I'd give up the idea of kids, that we could make it work. But he was already gone, mentally, emotionally, probably physically too. 2 weeks later, he moved out. Divorce papers showed up in my mailbox like a bad report card. I was alone, picking up the pieces of a life I thought I'd have forever. You know that feeling when your heart's been run over, but you're still expected to show up to work with a smile? That was me. I'm a dental hygienist, spending my days scraping plaque, making small talk about flossing, while my life felt like a cavity no one could fill. I started therapy because I couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. Could barely breathe without feeling like I was betraying myself for still loving him. Karen, my therapist, kept saying, "Jess, you're enough." But I didn't believe her. Not when Lauren, my best friend since our UNC days, started pulling away. She stopped texting as much. Stopped inviting me to brunches at the Flying Biscuit. I saw her car outside Mark's new place one night and told myself it was nothing. I ignored every red flag. You ever do that? Tell yourself it's fine when your gut's screaming? Back to the park. I'm behind that tree, my heart pounding like a jackhammer. I watch them for what feels like forever. Lauren's wearing this flowy sundress, her laugh carrying across the playground. Mark's got this goofy grin, the one he used to give me when we'd sneak ice cream at midnight. The baby, Ava, I'd learn later, gurgles, and it's like a knife twisting in my chest. I wanted to scream. To run. To throw my coffee at them. Instead, I stumbled back to my car, my hands shaking so bad I could barely unlock the door. I sat there, staring at the dashboard, the air conditioning blasting my face. And I made a choice. I wasn't going to cry. Not this time. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on my couch, a glass of cheap Pinot Noir in one hand, my phone in the other. The TV was on, some HGTV show about house flips, but I wasn't watching. I was scrolling through Lauren's Instagram. She'd made it private, but I remembered her posts from months ago, vague captions about new beginnings and unexpected blessings. Blessings. Huh. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Instead, I called my sister, Emily. She's the practical one, the one who doesn't let me spiral. Jess, she said, her voice sharp through the phone, you need answers. Not assumptions. Dig. So I did. I started with public records. Thank you, Wake County Courthouse website. Mark and Lauren weren't married yet. But there was a birth certificate. Ava Grace Thompson, 6 months old. 6 months. Do the math. Lauren was pregnant when Mark was still signing our divorce papers. My chest burned, like someone had poured acid down my throat. I kept digging. Old texts, emails, even Venmo transactions. Pro tip, people don't think to hide their Venmo. Lauren had sent Mark hundreds of dollars, labeled groceries or rent, while we were still married. While I was paying our rent, scraping by on my hygienist salary, then I found something weird. An email from Lauren to Mark, forwarded to me by accident months ago. Mark was never great at tech. It mentioned a consulting gig they were working on together. Consulting? Mark was a real estate agent, always chasing the next big commission. Lauren was a paralegal at a law firm downtown. What were they consulting on? The email was vague, but it mentioned a company name, Blue Ridge Holdings. I'd never heard of it. I filed that email away in my deal with later folder. Now, it was later, I couldn't let it go. My gut was screaming, louder than ever. So I did something I never thought I'd do, I hired a private investigator. His name was Tony, a guy who looked like he'd stepped out of a noir film, cheap suit, coffee breath, but sharp as a tack. I met him at a Waffle House off I-40, the kind of place where the air smells like grease and regret. I slid him a folder with everything I had, screenshots, Venmo logs, that email. Find out what they're hiding, I said. He nodded, like it was just another Tuesday. 3 weeks later, Tony called me. Jess, you're not gonna believe this. My heart was in my throat as I sat in my car, parked outside my office. Tony found bank records. Mark and Lauren had set up Blue Ridge Holdings, a fake LLC. They'd been skimming commissions from Mark's real estate deals, using Lauren's paralegal access to forge documents, contracts, deeds, you name it. And the worst part? They'd used my identity to set up part of it. My name, my social security number, my credit. I was tied to their scam without even knowing it. My hand shook as I gripped the steering wheel. I felt violated. Like they'd reached into my life and torn out pieces of me. You ever feel like someone's stolen something you didn't even know you had? But something else kicked in. Rage. Not the screaming, throw plates kind. The cold, calculated kind. The kind that makes you sit up straighter, your mind racing like a chess player plotting 10 moves ahead. I wasn't going to confront them. Not yet. I wanted justice, not drama. I wanted them to pay. I took everything to a lawyer. Not just any lawyer, Rebecca, a shark in heels who specialized in financial fraud. We met at her office downtown, all glass and steel, the kind of place that screams I win cases. I spread out Tony's report, the bank records, the forged documents. Rebecca leaned back in her chair, her eyes narrowing. Jess, she said, they're done. We built a case. Slowly. Methodically. Every forged signature, every shady transaction, every lie. It took months. I didn't sleep much. I'd lie awake, staring at the ceiling, imagining their faces when they realized I wasn't the pushover they thought I was. There were moments I almost backed out. One night, I found an old photo of me and Lauren at a 4th of July barbecue, our faces smeared with watermelon juice, laughing like nothing could break us. I cried so hard I thought I'd choke. You ever miss someone who hurt you? It's the worst kind of pain. But then I'd remember Ava's tiny sneakers, Mark's arm around Lauren, and I'd keep going. This wasn't about revenge. It was about me. Taking back my life. The confrontation came on a gray Tuesday in March. Rebecca filed the case with the Wake County DA. I didn't go to court, I couldn't stomach seeing them. But Rebecca called me that afternoon. Jess, it's over. Lauren lost custody of Ava. Not because of me directly, but because the court found out she'd falsified income records to qualify for benefits. Yeah, she wasn't as smart as she thought. Mark? Fired from his agency. His broker's license? Revoked. Real estate boards don't take kindly to fraud. And me? I was cleared of any involvement, but it took months to untangle my credit. My life. I had to freeze my accounts, get a new social security number, start over. It was like rebuilding a house after a fire. That night, I sat in my car outside the same Dunkin' where Lauren and I used to get coffee. Rebecca's words echoed, "You won." But it didn't feel like winning. My hands were steady on the steering wheel, but my heart was heavy. I'd lost my husband. My best friend. A version of myself I'd never get back. You ever mourn who you used to be? It's like grieving a stranger. I drove home, the radio off, the silence louder than anything. Here's the twist. A month later, I got a letter. Handwritten. From Lauren. It was waiting in my mailbox, her loopy cursive on the envelope. I almost tore it up. Instead, I sat at my kitchen table, the same one where Mark ended our marriage, and read it. She apologized. Said she was lost back then, that she never meant to hurt me. That she loved Ava and was fighting to get her back. She said Mark had manipulated her, that she was scared. I read it 3 times, my coffee going cold. I waited for the anger to come back. It didn't. Instead, I felt pity. Not forgiveness, not yet, maybe not ever. But pity. Lauren had built her happiness on lies, and now she was paying for it. And Mark? Tony told me he was living in a studio apartment, alone. No job, no family, no scam to lean on. I'm different now. I still go to therapy. Still drink too much coffee. But I'm rebuilding. I started a blog, not about this, not yet, but about little things. Recipes. Dental tips. Life. I'm finding my voice again. I walk through Pullen Park sometimes, not to haunt myself, but to remind myself I survived. The swings still squeak. The air still smells like grass and sunscreen. But I'm not a ghost anymore. Here's the second twist, though. Last week, I saw Ava's birth certificate again. I'd kept a copy, just in case. And I noticed something I'd missed before. The date. It didn't add up. Ava wasn't 6 months old when I saw them in the park. She was older. Which means Lauren was pregnant before Mark left me. Maybe months before. That realization hit like a punch. They didn't just betray me. They'd been building a whole life behind my back, while I was begging Mark to stay. It's not just the lies, it's the time. The years I gave them. You ever realize you were the last to know something everyone else saw coming? I don't know what I'll do with that yet. Maybe nothing. Maybe I'll confront Lauren one day, ask her why. Or maybe I'll let it go, let them live with their choices. For now, I'm focusing on me. My blog's getting traction. I'm thinking about going back to school, maybe becoming a therapist like Karen. I want to help people like me, People who've been broken but keep going. So, here's my question to you. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted with your whole heart? How did you pick up the pieces? Drop your stories in the comments, I read every one. And if this hit you like it hit me, please subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Thanks for listening.